Top NBA draft prospect escapes Shedeur Sanders' fate despite similar troubles. Ace Bailey was selected 5th overall by the Utah Jazz on Wednesday despite a controversial NBA pre-draft process. Unlike his NFL counterpart Shedeur Sanders, who suffered a historic slide a couple of months earlier, former Rutgers standout Ace Bailey avoided the Shedeur Sanders treatment despite raising eyebrows with his approach to the NBA pre-draft process. Bailey and his camp seemingly wanted to stay in control of his fate, even if it meant tanking his draft stock and missing out on millions of dollars. With his preferred destination said to be the Washington Wizards, New Orleans Pelicans, and Brooklyn Nets, the 6'8" forward canceled his visit with the Philadelphia 76ers, who showed interest in selecting him at no 3, before eventually picking Baylor guard VJ Edgecombe on Wednesday night. Bailey reportedly rejected other invites, including from the Utah Jazz, who were taken with the 5th overall pick, and in the end, never worked out with any team. Sources say Bailey's camp has informed interested teams that it believes he's a top 3 player in the draft, but also seeks a clear path to stardom, hoping to find a situation with ample minutes and usage to maximize his full potential, ESPN reported ahead of the draft. According to ESPN, his reps reportedly even told one of the teams inside the top 5 that Bailey wouldn't show up if they drafted him. Basketball analyst Jeff Goodman claimed that Bailey's pre-draft strategy wasn't well received. It just seems as though Ace Bailey has received some poor advice over the past year, Goodman said, has rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. Among those was Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro, who openly stated he didn't want Bailey on the Sixers following his canceled visit. The turbulent lead-up to the draft bore lots of resemblance to the narrative that emerged around Sanders earlier this year. The ex-Colorado star did speak to several NFL teams ahead of the 2025 draft. However, the quarterback whose father, Dion, had suggested he would try to impact the pre-draft process and prevent his son from ending up on a team they deemed undesirable, reportedly didn't make a good impression in some of those meetings. I was told that he more or less sandbagged in those interviews, CBS Sports insider Jonathan Jones said. I don't know if he didn't take them seriously, what it was, but he did not give it his all. Other reports said Sanders came across as arrogant and entitled, and in the end, the ex-Buff star entering the draft as a likely top 5 prospect endured a long wait to hear his name called. Not only did Sanders fall out of the first round, but he ended up dropping to day 3 before the Cleveland Browns used their 144th pick to select him in the 5th round. Bailey's slide was nowhere near as dramatic. The Tennessee native fell 2 spots from the no 3 draft slot he was projected at before his pre-draft troubles began. The former Rutgers Ace's decisions did cost him some money, though. Bailey's deal with the Jazz is set to be worth about $9,200,000, 0 cents less. Still, a loss considerably easier to digest than Sanders' $37 million contract, 0 cents, than the $50,500,000, 0 cents contract he could have been offered as a no 3 pick, and he ultimately failed to land on one of the East Coast teams he preferred. In his post-draft press conference, Bailey suggested he was surprised by the Jazz's decision to select him, saying he had no idea about their interest. However, the talented scorer insisted it was just a blessing to finally arrive in the NBA. The little kid in me is smiling hard right now because I know the hard work, the sacrifice, the blood, the sweat, the tears, not just for me but my family put into this, he said. The little kid in me is just smiling at me right now, so I'm just blessed to be here. In the realm of elite college athletics, hype and hardship often walk hand in hand. Few stories illustrate this duality more poignantly than that of Shedeur Sanders, the prodigious Colorado quarterback who, despite stellar stats and a famous last name, found his NFL draft stock plummet amid questions about competition level, durability, and perceived distractions off the field. But just as Sanders' story serves as a cautionary tale, another narrative unfolds in parallel, one that defies the same trajectory. Enter Marcellus Grant. Marcellus Grant served 22 years in the NFL and had a fair and effective season with the Texans back in. He ended up in the top NBA draft prospect who, despite encountering remarkably similar challenges, has managed to avoid the same fate and maintain his position atop draft boards, a mirror image across sports. At first glance, the similarities between Shedeur Sanders and Marcellus Grant are uncanny. Both are sons of celebrity athletes, Sanders, the son of Hall of Famer Deion Sanders, and Grant, the son of former NBA All-Star Marcus Grant. Both were heralded as prodigies in high school, commanding national attention by their junior years. And both faced high expectations in college, where cameras followed not just their performance, but their personas.